Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, depending on where you're listening from or watching from. This is Leadership Talk with Adegoke, the 92nd podcast. Yes, last week was 91st. Yes. And we're looking at leadership and debts, how you can get out of debts, how you can reduce your debt burden as a leader. Um, this is such a topical uh, issue, all over the world right now with the cost of living crisis, inflation going up, and the incomes of individuals and employees remaining the same. And the question is, how do we navigate through this? Even businesses, as leaders, how do we continue to remain productive and continue to manage our debts? Because for leaders, I can tell you for free, having a debt burden can be very challenging. As a leader, it takes the momentum out of your movement, and sometimes it can be a major distraction because, particularly when you have a high debt burden. So, on this segment, we're going to be looking at leadership and debt. Leadership Talk with Adegoke is a global podcast, and we're privileged to be showing up again and again. And we've added so much value all across the globe. And I'm so privileged to be on this session, sharing also, be sharing from experience. If you'd like to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Leadership with Adegoke Omotola, please feel free to do so. And you can also follow me on Instagram, Adegoke Omotola 1. That is Adegoke Omotola 1. That is numeric 1. And I'm also on Facebook as Coach Adegoke Omotola. We also have our courses, world-class customer service, fundamentals of business etiquette, and also professional selling skills are available on udemy.com. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty while we're here. Leadership and debts. Debts can be a major issue. If you're owing, it can be a major distraction, like I said. And so, how do we overcome this hurdle? Um, to reduce your debt burden, the first thing is to list, everything that you owe. Is important, and decide how much you can pay each month to reduce it. And for those who have credit cards, try and pay more than the minimum, because the interest rate for credit cards is much higher than the bank rate. So it can put a lot of stress on your finances. So pay more than the minimum, and pay more than once a month if you can. What this does is it reduces your debt. I know of instances where some people, because of their debt burden, have been so overwhelmed, and even to be productive is a major challenge. Um, so it's also important that you pay your bills on time. Make it intentional. Even if you have a mortgage, you try to, if it's a 30-year mortgage, 25-year mortgage, try to, reduce the number of years that you're going to pay the debt, because someone who is under debt can be overwhelmed for so many reasons. Because if you have your creditors chasing you all over the place, uh, it can be, like I said, it can be overwhelming. For me personally, I've been through those instances in my career where I had to struggle, with debt, and I knew, even for me personally, it was a huge burden. So you need to also consolidate your debts. Where are those debts hanging? There's some that maybe probably you feel that you can pace yourself and just take your time, but it's important for you to pay your debts, and pay it gradually. And the more in that position where you reduce your debt burden, it frees you up to think, It frees you up to commit yourself to even bigger issues, and it gives you clarity of purpose. So the importance of debt reduction cannot be overemphasized for a leader. A leader who is not able to pay their debts, it begins to affect your integrity, because when you make promises and you are not able to deliver on those promises, it creates, a challenge even for your leadership. And sometimes also it's important for us, even as leaders, to get coaches, to get mentors that can help us in terms of helping us, give us perspective on how we can reduce our debt. But I'm not a financial expert, but I also have some background in finance, and based on the experience I have had, I believe that it's better to have less debt hanging, around your business, you know, and so it gives you the ability to see clearly. It gives you the ability to, you know, maintain your integrity, so you should check your credit rating from time to time, and uh, because that really can be a major hurdle, because some people, because they have had outstanding debts, attached to their name or their businesses, it could affect their credit rating. So like I said, get advice from a credit counselor, but it's important for you to list out all your debts, try to intentionally pay them off, and and look for ways of growing your business, or growing your capacity to earn. You can go into multiple streams of income. You can have platforms where you push your products out there, ordinarily, which will involve more marketing. But basically, it's important that we get this into perspective, because if you are a person that, and you have a lot of debt hanging around you, it could reduce, like I said, your momentum to add value. And it's something that we intentionally have to do. I've been privileged to listen to Dave Ramsey, on his podcast, and it's been a huge blessing. There are steps that you can take to reduce your debt, even as a leader. But if you're able to get that into perspective, it helps you to gain clarity. It helps you to be seen as a person of integrity, and it helps you to expand into other areas. I know that the cost of a living crisis, inflation, like I said, it has gone up. Um, the cost of energy for those who are living in Europe, it's gone up. The cost of gas has gone up, and even in Africa as well. So all over the place. So the question is, how do we, you know, make more income? We need to recalibrate. We need to think outside the box. We need to apply ourselves in other areas where ordinarily we wouldn't have been able to. So, but if you reduce your debt burden, um, it helps you, so look for ways of negotiating, even if you have an outstanding debt, you can ask that, you want to pay down even on time, and look for concessions, get a debt relief. And like I said, also, you can also get a debt counselor, um, who would help you to gain clarity. But some of these things are not for free as well. But the important thing to realize is that eventually, the less debt you have, you know, outstanding, the more clarity it gives you. And also in terms of your relationship, personal relationships, some people, because of debt, they find their relationships under a lot of strain. It could be their family, it could be their official relationships, and it could be a major burden. So it's very important that for us to, even as leaders, to try and reduce our debt and manage our debt in such a manner that it won't put too much stress on us, because it can create so many negative impacts, on us. The more debts that you have, and you can't pay those debts, and they're accumulating and accumulating, it creates an imbalance, even in your mental health. So I'm just showing up to say that, even as leaders, we should consider ways of, reducing our debts. The importance of, ensuring that if you're owing, you pay down as I when due. And also sometimes you can even pay off uh, before the scheduled time, which gives you, it frees you from that burden, um, of being overwhelmed, So and also said that you should list out your debts, consolidate them, and look for ways of reducing them. And you can also look for ways of increasing your income, increasing your ability to make more money, to double up on your sources of revenue. Because the more revenue that you have, the more flexible you become, Um, and so for those who are also in employment, I know that there's always this, ability to just want to do impulsive buying. But this is not a time to just have that consumption mentality. One has to think beyond consumption. Let your money begin to work for you. Look for platforms uh, where your money can work for you. So even while sleeping, um, and like I said, get a financial advisor. Financial intelligence is very important right now, even as a leader. How financially intelligent are you? Consolidate your debts, try to pay before time, and don't incur more debts. Some will say refinancing, but if you want to grow, sometimes but as for nations now, you want to spend your way out of a recession. Say, spend on infrastructure, which is okay, but there is no point also in having a situation where you don't have multiple areas where you're generating revenue. And for individuals and leaders, we of often, like I said, we have to drive, the process in such a way that you have multiple streams of income. So debts can be horrible. It can be very challenging if you're under the pressure of debts. Uh, it can create an imbalance in the area of integrity. It can make your personal life unbearable, relating with your family and your friends. So I would like to say that intentionally pay off your debts, review your profile regularly, and it makes you much relatable, and reduces conflicts. If you are not in debt, it reduces conflicts, and it gives you clarity of purpose, clarity of thinking, and yeah. So that's just a message on this episode. Like I said, if you need help, reach out to a financial advisor, to help you in the area of managing your portfolio. But as leaders, I would just like to say that it's very important for us, to manage our debts, reduce our debts. It's very, very important because it gives you a peace of mind. The scripture says that the borrower is servant to the lender. I'm not saying that it's wrong to take a loan, but what I'm saying is that you must be able to pay down the loan as and when due, and look for ways of recalibrating. And because even the lenders, I mean, recently everyone has had to, look at their books, and some have increased. The central banks, the monetary policy, they have increased the interest rates in quite a number of countries. And for those who are lenders, what does that do? It puts a lot of pressure on the finances. So they also increase their rates, like mortgage rates. So for for us as leaders right now, we need to be financially intelligent. Don't go and take a loan that you don't need. Be financially savvy. List out all your debts and begin to pay them down as soon as you can, even beforehand. So yes. So it's been an amazing session looking at leadership and debts. Once again, this is Leadership Talk with Adegoke, the 92nd podcast, and it's been a great one. So I trust you well. Please follow us on all our social media handles, and thanks for the followership. Thanks.